copying this. There's one to copy this.
Hey, you're that guy.
That's all I did. It's working now. It's getting audio from the camera too. Alright. Do you want to go live or no? I swear. That is exactly what I was doing.
Hey, thanks for your card. You're digging a ditch? Yeah, we're doing the house right now. Over by our record room. Yeah. Hey, how's the good shooting? What's the temperature outside? Well, my question is there still frost in the ground? No, it seems to come from the ground. It's moist and have good patches. Yeah, we just shared. Yeah, Victoria and I spent a weekend getaway up at Hill Springs. When we arrived at noon, the snow on average was about that. By the time we left the day, one weekend, we don't know where it's going. Yeah. Yeah, they were worried about Salt Lake, but it's up to Salt Lake. Yeah, from the St. Paul. Well, it might not disappear in 5 years, because it might be one place. We're Salt Lake. Yeah, did you know?
Charlie, where's Henry going? Is he signing today?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
I gotta sneak out when it's 15. How's it going? Good.
Until she finds the other job.
Well, that'll be like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's all you. Who's in charge of your cocktails? Today? That's pretty cool.
Perfect, right in mind.
What's up?
I think we're gonna be up here.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna set it back here. Alright, Edna, how are you doing today? Yesterday was fun.
Yeah, people in the home have softball games today.
I don't know, what time do they play at?
So who's gonna be taking it?
Varsity?
Yeah.
You're just like, you're doing this. I'm out.
I was thinking about hitting up that crosstown tennis thing.
Oh, yeah. They do, right?
I think so. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But if softball's at 5, I might be able to catch one. Did that work? Well, this is new. Haven't had to do something like this yet.
Yeah, there's not too many of these.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Seems pretty efficient.
right? I usually just follow your tweets and see what you're doing. But this one didn't even get. Gary.
What? Gary, what are we doing here?
Super secret.
You know everything, Gary.
You can't get kicked out of here though, Gary.
You in fact cannot go on the college softball field anymore either.
Wait, what? No way. Yesterday? When did that? What are you talking about?
The umps have spoken.
Today?
Yesterday, there was a game yesterday.
There was. But yesterday they like drew us. They like sprayed a box on the field. They like made a box.
Only if there's a dead zone can you go on the field. That field has no dead zone, therefore you cannot go on
Carroll?
that field. Yes.
The coach was so down, but yeah, it was weird. They like
You
had
had to
to
go talk to the umps. The umps say no, and then that means no.
They did. They said yes. They drew us the box. Ask Daniel. He was there.
I was there yesterday. I talked to the umps. Umps said no, so therefore the answer is no.
But you're only there for the first game. I was only there for the second game. Maybe there was different umps.
Problem. If the umps say no, the answer is no.
You're right. I'm just fucking.
I'm just telling you.
Hey, I don't want to.
If the umps say no, then that's your answer. Did I tell you why Scott's not a coach?
For what?
Because he's never DP.
What was he the coach of?
Big arms.
Oh, that Scott.
Yeah, had a retirement plan. Yelling at kids on ice at 51, I guess there's a retirement plan there. So.
Hey, does that Lucas guy work with you guys?
Lucas?
Lucas Lamb?
Never met him.
Me neither. I
Wait,
just
Lucas? No. Wrong man.
wrong Lucas.
Hey,
Yeah, like new. He was new.
fired all the new guys. Lucky you beat me more than a year.
So does that mean I'm next, guys? No, that's good. I'm stuck with Papa Scripps. When do we start getting all the cool Carol like swag? That'd be nice.
You mean us?
Yeah.
We don't get cool Carol swag.
Why? We should. We're good.
You don't work for Carol, so why would you get Carol swag?
I'm covered, Carol.
That's not how it works. You can't rep who you cover. That's not how it works.
Yes, I have heard that. So I can't cheer on like he's telling when they're playing like, Steve I.
No.
I can't cheer on Carol when they're playing the Argos.
That's not how that works.
We do have a station in Great Falls, you're right. Better be careful.
You usually have a visiting side, so you can't wear colors of the visiting teams or anything.
That is true.
Or home teams or anything like that.
It's bogus.
It's supposed to be neutral. All the tree goes inside your head.
Do you think he'll just like
Huh?
talk into it?
We can't play at the bottom. I'll play with the big. Are you new?
Go on.
You get a wireless mic?
They don't give me those yet.
Oh,
I'm
you
still tuning
They
in.
don't trust you with that? Pretty clip.
Yes, I've seen those, but I don't have them. It's not.
I think it's some good weather for you.
We're just the new Kennedy, Gary. There he is. We're all here.
So glad I double checked my email at 12:30.
12:30. Close enough.
We don't have to drive too far, luckily.
Oh no, I'm right down the street.
You don't have to guess if the train's coming or not.
Nope. My house is on this side.
Well, Austin, how much longer are you in Helena for?
I will be in Bozeman full time in May.
In May?
Starting May 1st, yeah.
That's coming up.
I know. We just secured
What's
a
that?
place down there.
Oh yeah.
So super exciting.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Alex left, so I'm taking Alex's job.
Alex.
Alex Eshelman, she was our host.
Oh, right.
She's now the Big Sky.
Yeah.
Big Sky Conference.
So she'll still be out there somewhere.
What's that?
She'll still be out near Bozeman.
Who?
Uh,
She lives in Idaho now.
oh, really?
Yeah, because she's the Big Sky Conference media person.
So that's
So
yeah,
it's
not
the
just
entire
Montana.
conference. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna miss seeing your face, man.
Dude, I'll be up here until we get a Helena guy. I'm still gonna be traveling back and forth.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll shoot you an email with yeah, we had a meeting this morning.
I mean, I had an idea when I saw Kirk get out of his car with his kids and stuff like that. I was like, close.
I know, crazy.
Yeah.
I'm on track. I know.
Because that signing's at what, 2:15?
I know.
What's that, 30?
Yeah, we just worked.
Henry Gross.
Oh, yeah, it's at Capitol.
We're at Capitol. Where do they do those? Just
I know. They do it the stupidest way. In the library.
It was very
in the library.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
And we got a softball game later on today, too.
That's what he was saying. There's crosstown tennis. Are you guys going to the
winter now.
softball?
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. It's already chilly outside. I hate this. It was so windy when I was going to bed last night.
Could be worse. We could be in Great Falls.
But it is not.
Supposed to rain tomorrow during baseball.
Baseball is Thursday, Friday.
I got stuff Friday.
What's
So
tomorrow?
the press and the radio Friday.
Oh, I'm doing rodeo this weekend for the first time ever.
Yes.
The indoor radio is terrible.
College.
Fanfare just for your
Man.
Whatever that.
Colin, I checked my email at 12:30. Rechecked it because I, for some reason, thought it was 2. Thank God, dude, it was 12:30. Just got out of the shower. I was like, oh my God, it's 1. I gotta go.
That radio is just so dark.
Really?
You gotta stand. I'm not playing the hockey tournament, so.
Is the rodeo this
I got
weekend?
other things to do. Huh?
The rodeo's this week.
Sunday.
Friday.
concert out there too, right?
No, Sunday down in Bozeman.
Oh. Oh, you are? Oh, okay. You're not doing it here.
Dave?
Yeah, there's one here
I
Friday.
spoke on the phone.
Oh, okay. It's indoor radio.
We're just trying to get out there Thursday. You guys are having your last
What
practice.
kind of camera is that, man?
And a concert. Joe Nichols, who
get started.
Last weekend,
Michelle.
walking that old gym, it looks exactly like the gym.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to Carroll College. My name is John Seck and I serve as the president of Carroll College, but I'm actually here today in my capacity as the chairman of the Council of Presidents for the Frontier Conference. I appreciate each of you taking time to be with us today. This is really an exciting day. It's a day of celebration, celebrating an incredible legacy. So without further ado, I would like to ask you to join me in welcoming Commissioner Paulson to the podium.
So you people thought you were actually coming for a preview for the Saints auction, did you? We're going to get that early bid in. And by the way, I'm told a condo down in Mesa with some game tickets. It's a pretty good auction item. Charlie, I told you, I was a board salesman. Well, welcome to everybody. Hope you had a wonderful and blessed Easter weekend. And I just thank all of you for coming today. I know we're going statewide and probably regional wide, and really appreciate you being here. Yes, the reason we're here today is to announce that I plan to retire on June the 30th of this year at the completion of my contract. I've told my board of directors, presidents, and chancellors that I would stay on as needed to ensure the smooth transition when they select my successor. John asked me how I would like to roll out this retirement, and I told him that I was a former track coach for 25 years. I remember a guy by the name of Harry Clark coming in and working out at Memorial Stadium. And in some races, at least in my day, the starting line and the finish line were one and the same. And 14 years ago, right down the hall, in now what is a conference room, I was introduced by Dr. Tom Trebon, a former Carroll College president. And Tom kind of headed up the search, but he was on the final days, if you will, in June of his 2 years serving as the COP president, as Dr. Seck is, and Charlie Gross as the athletic director is the president of our CAD group, which is the Council of Athletic Directors. So Tom introduced me. I stood up just like I am today. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I will tell you that it's been a terrific 14 years. I told some people that you know how much you love a job when you have a hard time deciding if you're going to leave it or not. I think that's the measure of how much I enjoyed my 14 years. Many times during that time, I will tell you, and my wife Joan will tell you that not only did I really not know what I was getting into, I had the administrative piece down from the high school stint, but the collegiate part of it, there was just this real steep learning curve. And I had some terrific help from Lori Thomas, who at the time was an NAI employee, and I was kind of assigned to her. She was my mentor. She is now actually the commissioner of the Heart of America Conference, and I never pass up the opportunity to thank her for those early days. But there was a lot of 3 o'clock mornings pounding on the computer because I was spoiled. I came from Whitefish High School and I had 3 secretaries, an administrative assistant, and so I would scribble some notes down and put a paperclip on them and hand them with my left hand to my right hand, knowing that I was also now the secretary and the office manager. And so I learned as I went. I peeked around the corner, and I guess it was good training because all of us ended up peeking around a lot of corners during the 2 years of COVID. My philosophy and leadership style has always been centered around family. And here we go. Bear with me. Before I get into the leadership part, which I can talk about, I do want to introduce family. And I think everybody in the room and everybody out there watching this met the First Lady of the Frontier Conference. Kurt and I know who the commissioner in the house is. We've known that all the time. And to that, I'd like to introduce, if I could, my lovely wife, Joan, who is the real commissioner. You know, I always told people we'd go to meetings such as the one that we were just at in New Orleans, and we'd go to the convention, and I'd see some of my peers, I'd see people from the NAI, and I'd reach out to shake their hand, and they'd walk right by me and give Joan a hug. And they certainly picked out the better-looking one in the group. And Joan has become quite a fixture, as John has alluded to, and as Jim Carr alluded to. She's gotten to know a lot of people over the 14 years, and she's really made things for us and the Frontier Conference, and certainly for me. I do want to mention family members. I mentioned Kurt, who is, of course, very well known in these circles at Carroll, but there's our oldest son, Cale, our daughter, Krista, their spouses, and Kurt today, I'm blessed to have his spouse, Carrie, along with two of my three grandsons here. Cruz is playing hooky today. Gosh, I hope the teacher doesn't find out. And the littlest of our 10 grandchildren is over here with Grandma, and that's Kaylor. And so very, very pleased and happy that they are here. Certainly, also in my thank yous, I'd be remiss. I want to thank all of the people of these groupings. My presidents and chancellors, my board of directors. Today I'm very honored to have Mr. Greg Kegel and his wife Sherry, the chancellor at MSU Northern. I always kid Greg because I'm the senior statesman of the Frontier. I'm older than every president. I'm older than every athletic director, and certainly older than all the coaches. But I keep waiting for Greg at the finish line. And,
I can see it.
Northern is not going to let him go. He does a great job up there. He's been there ever since I've been on board, and MSU Northern is the better for it. If you haven't had a chance to see their new football stadium, state of the art. Congratulations. I will be at your retirement whenever that happens. All my athletic directors, I mentioned Charlie is the head of our CAD, certainly all of our coaches, my staff, Wally Felt at the Director of Relations, Media Relations position, Neil Peterson, my football supervisor, Mike Fisher and Matt Shute as my basketball supervisors, and Michelle Peterson as my supervisor of volleyball officials. All of our trainers, sports information directors, faculty athletic representatives, the professors at the institutions, the school staffs, the sports game officials, at the NAI, our CEO and President Jim Carr, the NAI staff, my fellow commissioners, there's 20 more of me around the U.S., the members of the media. Had a great relationship with you, and thank you again for being here today. My close friends that are in attendance, got a former college running mate, Bob Klukas, who moved to Helena about a year ago, and Bob and I go way back as collegiate athletes. And then, lastly, certainly the fans of the Frontier Conference. They say all good things in life must come to a close. I guess the saying actually says, they say in life that all good things must end. And I'm here to tell you that this commissioner gig was all that it was billed to be. It was a really good thing. 14 years following a 36-year career in secondary education makes for an awesome 50-year run. I'm calling this my golden journey. And speaking of 50 years, Joan will have supported all of my sports habits next summer. Not this summer, but July 6th of 2024, we will celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. As you can see, she's been around a lot of road trips, a lot of games, and you know, the funny thing about this is that I obviously love sports, or I wouldn't have been in the business of coaching and now as commissioner, but Joan likes sports even more than I do. If I can't find her around the house, I know she's watching a Mariners baseball game. That car would start up in the garage and she would be in it. It just killed her not to be able to go to the national basketball tournaments this year. And kind of along with what I said earlier, I run into people. I ran into Jim Carr right away, and he said, "Where's Joan?" And that's kind of the expectation. You know, I was listening. I know you know the name Ernie Johnson at TNT, and he was trying to herd Shaq and Kenny and Sir Charles in an interview, and he spoke of the time he addressed the football team, and I think it was Alabama, and something that he said resonated. He says, "You have people who say, 'I got to go to work in life,' and then there are people who get to go to work in life." And that saying is stuck. I've just been so blessed to have a job where I viewed it as getting to go to work, and that even goes back to the days of being a classroom teacher, a coach, a guidance counselor, principal of a high school, and certainly now as commissioner. My leadership style, as I mentioned, is I applied it to every job that I've been in during these 50 years, and it really was centered around the family. I wanted my employees to feel like their family was valued, they were part of the family. Whether it was in the classroom, in the huddle, in the guidance office, the faculty and school meetings, business meetings with the presidents, the athletic directors and coaches, I always felt like they would give you their best effort if you treated them with class, courtesy, and respect. If you've ever got an email from me, that's right below the Frontier logo. They were family. And the team that I always wanted to be part of is always the sum of its individual parts. The individual parts made up of people who believe that it's never about I, it's never about me. And that's always been my leadership style. Make people believe that our jobs are important, praise them for being an important part of a team. That team effort then was fostered that of family. The Frontier family has never been better. They've accomplished so much and are not only in a great place now, but are poised for some terrific things that lie ahead in a very bright future. Such things as increased membership, addition of corporate sponsorship, revenue stability, the rise of student organizations, which Charlie has spearheaded, and Rochelle Sayers is sitting back here, and they've done an amazing job in forming our SAC units across the conference. The addition of quality leadership in key positions in presidencies, chancellorships, and athletic directors, head coaching jobs, the addition of new sports, and the continuance of quality administrative and coaching hires, to name just a few things that will allow the Frontier Conference to continue to grow in the years to come. Yes, the future is very bright for Montana's conference, the Frontier Conference. John, I'm sticking to 15 minutes, I swear. My job is not done yet. We still have this month on the calendar, our conference men's and women's golf, which I'll be leaving for tomorrow, and our conference tournament is in Las Vegas, and then our outdoor track and field championships. Thank you, coaches, all of you representing the various sports for being here today. I really appreciate it. We have sports meetings with coaches of those two sports. We have a virtual quarterly call coming up with our athletic directors and presidents and chancellors. And then we have our end of the year summer meetings in Whitefish. And we're going to celebrate our past year's 22-23 Frontier Conference accomplishments, and then script the upcoming 23-24 year's tasks that lie ahead. And we're going to continue to move this organization forward. I want to personally thank Dr. John Seck of Carroll College, Dr. Les Cook of Montana Tech, who is the vice chair of our COP and of our conference. As I mentioned, Mr. Greg Kegel in attendance today, for their leadership and friendship these past years. Mr. Charlie Gross, the athletic director here at Carroll College, and our CAD president, for his friendship and leadership in our CAD organization, and most certainly a huge thank you to his wife Barb, that's also here today. Want to again thank all of the people, presidents, chancellors, and athletic directors that I, as your longest serving commissioner to this point of 14 years, the first full-time commissioner, and God knows many of those nights I spoke of, I was wondering how did my four predecessors do this job as a part-time employee. To illustrate the quality of people that work in this conference, the quality of hire that our institutions employ, here are some approximate numbers to digest. And I mean this in reverence in the fact that we hire good people in this league. In my 14 years of service, I've had the pure enjoyment of working with approximately 40 plus presidents and chancellors, 50 plus athletic directors, and 100 plus head coaches in various sports. And so if you didn't know the Frontier Conference, you'd say, wow, that must be that place. They drop in and they get the heck out of here. That's not the case. They hire good people, they stay, they do their jobs, and in many cases they're hired away. And we see that with our game officials, we see that with virtually every position. You have a few people, like the guy talking, that come and they just hang around and they stay. I never intended. When I took this job, I was 58 years old. 58 plus 14 means 72, standing in front of you. I never intended to go anywhere. I knew this was the job that I wanted, and I knew that I was able to put my thumbprint on it like I had other jobs. But this time I got to take the things that I enjoyed out of my first 36 years, and I got to mold that into a job that has just been phenomenal. In closing, when I told Joan that I had carefully evaluated my job situation, and this was actually on our way home from New Orleans last week, and I had finally decided to retire, she was very excited for me, but she had two major concerns. Who is he going to talk to all day? She says, I'm on the phone all the time, which I am. And two, how are you going to survive with being home all day, every day, without your next sporting event being planned for? So I would just ask you in closing, presidents, ADs, business people, media, if you get a letter of interest or a resume from me, Joan wrote that. She will be looking for a job for me. She talked about our 50th anniversary, and I heard her telling somebody the other day that I was still a work in progress. I think she stole that line from my mother, talking about my father. And She also said something about she had a contract and there was some small print, something like she had an option year. I'm not sure what that means. And I'm only jesting. I think I probably am a work in progress. So as stated, this job was never about me. I wanted to be out of the field with the school administration, the coaches, the student athletes, their teams, rather than the image of some person with the title commissioner sitting in a glass house in Whitefish, Montana. I wanted to be part of the team. I wanted the aforementioned groups to know that I was one of them, that I appreciated so much who they were and what they did. I always told them if you were going to work that hard, then I plan to be working just as hard to do my part for the betterment of this organization. I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart, from the Paulson family. It has truly been golden. I hope that I've served you well and have every day since 2009 been a great ambassador for the Frontier Conference. John, last night when I arrived at Kurt and Carrie's house, see those grandkids, it's been fun because there's a lot of people that wondered, I'm sure, how does a coach in an institution that's in the conference have a father who's a commissioner? And I think we've handled it very, very well. He always greets me by, hey, commish. And I always greet him by, hey, coach. But then there's moments where these little guys are around sitting on Grandpa's lap, and I'm dad, and he's my son. So, Johnny asked me, what's my title? What's my title going to be? Do you have any answers? Come on up. Thank you.
Ken, thank you. We love you more than you could ever know. And I know I speak on behalf of the 10 presidents and chancellors, one of our chancellors right there, and Chancellor Les Cook, who's the vice chair of the conference, when we say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, what you've done over the past 14 years for this conference. Words can't describe. You've made this conference, so thank you. And I've had the pleasure of working with you now for 5 years. The last year as the chairman of the COP. And when I think of words to describe your service as our commissioner, these come to mind. Dedicated, tireless, accomplished, committed. And in my mind, nothing you did over the past 14 years can compare to your dedication of the conference following a very, very horrific automobile crash on November 10th, 2014. You just about died for this conference. And you, through surgeries, through physical therapy, recovered to return as our commissioner, stating that your mental health therapy was the fact that you would return as commissioner. That's how committed you were and still are to this conference. And I'll never forget that. Let's give them This year, as you mentioned, you celebrated 50th year in education. What a service to our country. Education is the future of this country, the future of our democracy. And your service in education and as our commissioner has made such a huge difference. Ken, I'm grateful our conference has been able to benefit from your service over the past 14 years. You've set us up for success. And I would also like to address the co-commissioner, or as you said, the real commissioner. Joan, you've been there every step of the way, every meeting, everything, to make sure that we are prepared for success. And there are not many Joan Paulsons in this world. But thank you for all that you've done to support the conference and to keep him out of trouble. So our press conference, our press release provides a number of Kent's accomplishments, and I won't reiterate all of them, but I'd like to just bring a few to your attention. It was through Kent's leadership that the conference expanded to include the addition of associate members, including the College of Idaho, Eastern Oregon University, Southern Oregon University, and most recently, Arizona Christian University. Beginning in 2012-2013, we instituted the addition of indoor-outdoor men's and women's track and field. Kent established a sports chairman system, whereas league athletic directors head up particular sports. Beginning in 2020-21, he led efforts to reestablish the Frontier Conference Outdoor Men's and Women's Track and Field Championships. He instituted the Ron Sweet Kennison Award, developed the foundation for a future Frontier Conference Endowment Fund, which will be critical for our future success. Developed 8 team schedules for football and 6 team schedules for basketball and volleyball. Developed and updated a comprehensive policy and procedures manual for each sport that the Frontier Conference offers, and led the conference successfully through the COVID-19 world pandemic. That in itself is monumental. The president of the NAIA in Kansas City, Jim Carr, as well as my fellow presidents and chancellors who are not here with us today, asked me to share a few words. And I'll begin with President Carr from the NAIA in Kansas City, and I quote, "Kent Paulson exemplifies all that is good about the NAIA, the Frontier Conference, college athletics. Kent has spent his entire professional career as a servant leader and has had a positive impact on countless students, coaches, and administrators. On behalf of the NAIA, I wish Kent and his wife, Joan, the best as they enjoy retired life with their family." Next, Jim Everett, who is the co-president of the College of Idaho, said this: "Bringing football back to the College of Idaho has been great for us, and never could have happened without the leadership and guidance provided by Kent Paulson and the presidents and chancellors of the Frontier Conference. We could not be more grateful to Kent for all of his support, advocacy, and ability to adapt to a rapidly changing landscape in collegiate athletics. Kent has left us in a great position for continued success. We all hope to see his continued presence at athletic events and wish he and his wife, Joan, the very best." The next is from Dr. Les Cook, Chancellor of Montana Tech and Vice Chair of the Council of Presidents. "We are extremely appreciative of Kent's commitment and enthusiasm for the Frontier Conference and NAIA athletics over the past 14 years. A solid foundation has been established and the momentum will continue as the conference expands. His support of member institutions, and more importantly, our student athletes, has been exemplary. We are grateful for both he and Joan for their dedication and support." Next, we have a comment from Dr. Robert Wilmot, president of Rocky Mountain College. "Kent was instrumental in the evolution of this conference. We are grateful and wish both Kent and Joan happiness in retirement." Next, we have a quote from Dr. Richard Bailey, Jr., president of Southern Oregon University. "As associate members of the Frontier Conference, Commissioner Paulson always made us feel not only welcome, but integral partners in the group. For that, all of us will be eternally grateful. We wish Kent and his family all the best and thank them for the service to our students, universities, and communities." Friends, Kent's leadership over the past 14 years has truly defined the Frontier Conference. He's worked tirelessly to serve these 10 institutions in 4 states which comprise the conference. The Council of Presidents, which I have had the pleasure of leading, want to express our deep, deep appreciation to Kent for his leadership, and we are honored to acknowledge his unwavering commitment to the conference by doing something very, very special today. Very special. Kent, would you come up here, please? So the presidents and chancellors would like to bestow upon Kent Paulson the title of Commissioner Emeritus, a title that he will have for the rest of his life. And what this will mean is that Kent and Joan will be able to attend athletic events for the rest of their lives at any of the 10 institutions for free. And so, Kent, I want to give a shout out to, where is Conlenberg? There he is. He pulled this together. We will pull together an official document that'll be framed, it'll be beautiful, but for today, we wanted you at least to have this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, it's not till he actually leaves as commissioner, because that may be a while, but Commissioner Emeritus Paulson. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You bet. Thank you. Kent, you're going to be in our lives for a long, long time. And so we appreciate you, we appreciate Joan, and we look forward to spending lots of time with you at athletic events and also picking your brain on things. So, Joan, we'll give you a little cover on that.
And I'm going to be driving a lot of miles. Joan's eyes lit up when you said she gets to go at every sporting event.
Exactly. So it's exciting. We will begin a search for the position, and that process will begin immediately. And Dr. Les Cook and I will co-chair that process. And so we'll have more information going out. But we do want folks to know that we will begin that search process, and we'll have it eventually loaded on the Frontier Conference website. In the meantime, as we're reaching out, if anyone is interested in the position, they can send an email directly to me, as chair of the conference, at president@carroll.edu. So, just wanted to mention that. Without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Chancellor Greg Kegel, who he and his beautiful wife drove down here today to share a few words and comments about Kent. Thank you, Chancellor.
Well, Kent, all good things do come to an end. But I'm sure this isn't going to be the end for you. So we didn't want to come down and just let you say all the thanks. The conference wants to thank you. And I think back through the years, 51 years ago, I knew of Kent Paulson, and I followed you for 51 years, all through the K-12 stuff that you've done and the coaching you've done, and got to work with you as a COP, and I've watched you with the conference, the things that you've done, and I can tell you, you've made the Frontier Conference what it is. It's a powerhouse conference. It's the #1 conference in NAIA, and we're all very proud of your contributions, and we just want to make sure that we say thanks to you. And when I say that, I'm saying that from the conference, I'm saying it from everybody that's up at MSU Northern, and then personally, I want to just thank you for what you've done. You've been a leader and an inspiration to all of us. Kent's a class act. He's a guy with a ton of reverence. He's a guy that when he walks in the room, people knows he's in the room. He's an example for everybody. He's committed, and as I can just tell you, as a leader that I am, all as I want is just people to be committed. Just please commit. And there was never a doubt, never, that Kent wasn't committed. He was committed to everything he did. I so appreciate that. And the other thing, the professional side, professionalism, the thing that makes people around you a little bit better because of who you are. I just want to thank you for that, because that's how come this conference has gotten so tough. You've been a great leader, a great example, and I'll just tell you, the Frontier Conference was damn lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thanks again, Greg and Sherry, for being here. That means a lot. Now it's my great pleasure to welcome Kent's son, Kurt Paulson, the head men's basketball coach for Carroll College. Kurt.
Thanks, Dr. Seck. I can promise that the presidents, coaches, and ADs Zoom calls will be a lot shorter. The commissioner has moved on, so that should streamline some of your meetings. No, I know my dad did a great job because all the trips he made around the state, around the country to shake hands, referees, retiring, he was there to shake their hand, drove many miles just to support the people that were part of the Frontier Conference, coaches, players, officials, administrators. So I know he put his heart and his soul into the conference. The publicity, when I was a student athlete in the early 2000s, I can promise you that the publicity around the state, around the country for the Frontier Conference has increased. I know my dad had a lot to do with that, getting the word out on how great of a conference it was around the state, newspapers, press releases, in the media. I just feel like the conference is very strong and it's known about across the country, and I know my dad did a great job for that. And I'll miss running into people around the state when the press releases say Whitefish. They'll often ask me, is there a headquarters building up at Whitefish? And I usually just tell them it's my mom's old sewing room. Turned into the conference headquarters, so I'm gonna miss telling that joke to people, but excited for my dad to enjoy the retired life and the grandkids, and still be a fan of the Frontier Conference. Thanks a lot.
A Q&A session. So Charlie.
Ken, congratulations on an incredible career, positively impacting the lives of young people. Outstanding. And the leadership you provided to the athletic directors. There's a lot of ways you could define, or names you could call athletic directors. We'll call them spirited for now. Your ability to emphasize the importance of friendship, of family, collaboration, maintaining a perspective before we ever talked about competition. It took a lot of skill and patience to do that, and we will miss that. Joan and Kent, your unwavering welcome approach, showing us what hospitality really means. Thank you. The Frontier Conference truly is a special place because of both of you. So, with that, we will open this up for questions, really for Commissioner Kent Paulson, for Commissioner Joan Paulson, and Dr. Seck. So, media, if you've got questions, Kent, why don't you come up here and
I promise I won't cry this time.
so, questions?
We must have done a good job.
What do you hope to do in retirement? What's some hobbies or something you hope to?
Well, I've hid behind Dan when people have asked me about retiring, and this is the last number of years, and I've always hid behind the excuse that I can't retire because I cannot play bad golf that many days in a row. But that is something that I do enjoy and continue to enjoy, even though, as Dr. Seck referred to, I've had a number of surgeries. I actually have knee replacement surgery scheduled for May the 3rd. I'm hoping I can get my speed back so I can get on Harry's track team. Harry knows, but no one's gonna believe us, Harry, but I was a sprinter.
Oh, I know.
And,
Look at me.
the kids at Whitefish High, when the coach Schultz told them about my foray as a Frontier Conference sprinter, they shook their heads, and one of them wanted to know how far I threw it. And so they thought maybe I might be Wakeman. And of course, that could have been a decathlete maybe. But Dan, I did when I was in Great Falls at CMR. I had staff meetings every Sunday evening, and Sundays after church, did take the boys out fishing on the Missouri. And so I hope to get back in, and we love walleye, the poor man's lobster, as we refer to it in Montana. And so I think there'll be some fishing, some golf. We purchased a pontoon boat to replace the one that we had, and so we're anxious to get that back on the lake. As was alluded to, Joan is phenomenal as far as being a great hostess, and Sherry and Greg and John and Victoria and Barb and Charlie and all of the ADs. Jim Carr's coming out. We will have our summer meetings, and I really believe that organizations need to celebrate their accomplishments. And so we're gonna have an extra special summer meeting and celebrate them. And Joan's already working on that, so don't miss it.
Yeah, long and storied career, obviously. I just got to meet you, this past fall for the first time. And thank you for the hospitality and everything that you've done for this conference. But if you can pinpoint maybe multiple couple events, what have been your favorite events as being commissioner of the Frontier Conference?
Well, I hope you can read between the lines on this one, because I've been proud of so many things. But Kurt's first year playing in the national championship was, there was just no way to describe what I was feeling, because he was playing a fellow conference school at the time, Lewis Clark State, and so I was sitting in the end tables with Jim Carr, the CEO, the president of the NAI. Sat the whole game and had my hands clasped under the table. Knew I was on camera, not because of me, but because of the guy I was sitting next to, and not showing any emotion other than the proud feeling I had of two teams from our conference playing each other in the national semifinals. About 5 minutes to go in the game, it was pretty sure that Carroll had the game locked up, and he turned to me and said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, I'm on the commissioner above the table, but below the table I'm dad." And I was nervous. I was real nervous. But certainly that, as I told Kurt, first year as a head coach, sitting on the bench of the national championship, I said, there's guys my age that have coached all their life and have never got to do what you're going to get to do this evening. And so that was one. Certainly, gosh, my list is long. The bringing in of new schools, as John and Charlie both have mentioned. We've just, I kiddingly said that my geography teacher would have put a big red F on the top of my paper if I tried to convince them that Arizona and Montana had a lot in common, much less Oregon and Montana. But we're using this, and the presidents have just been phenomenal in the ADs, but we're using the strengthening of a sport that we have 8 members to further strengthen our other sports, basketball, volleyball, that need games, and we need to be able to compete. And so the bringing in of new schools, kind of a two-prong approach, associate membership and full-time membership certainly. Harry coaching a 2-time decathlon champion of the NAI as a freshman and sophomore. I mean, phenomenal, and of course I'm a little biased here, hometown Whitefish kid. Again, I can spend most of the afternoon picking great memories, but as Kurt said, this is a phenomenal conference. And Greg mentioned we are on the map. They know us, and we're very, very proud of our position on the national competitive scene.
You mentioned, a lot of long days in this job over the years, and kind of understandably so. What's kind of been the motivation in wanting to see this conference thrive and expand in the last 14 years for you personally?
Well, the motivation is very simple. I had the privilege of playing in the conference. Cale, our oldest son, Kurt's older brother, played at Montana Tech. I played at Western. Kurt, of course, played here, is employed here. Joan went to school at Carroll here for her first 2 years. They didn't have nursing, so she had to transfer. Had they been today's curriculum, she would have graduated from here. I told the presidents in my interview back in 2009, you have to hire me because I paid tuition at just about every school. And they quickly understood that I knew the landscape of the frontier. And I think that is a piece of it. As Greg said, we're family. We all roll up our sleeves. We assess the situation. We meet it head on. And just all of us constantly together moving the conference forward. That's what drives a person. And I learned something as a principal of a high school. If your light was on in the office, everybody had an opportunity to stop in and chit-chat and say hello, and I could never get anything done. And so I learned to work late at night. Once everybody else was gone, Joan wouldn't see me a lot of times till 7 or 8 at night at home. And I kind of carried that through in this job, where I get things done that I need to during the day. I rest and relax, have dinner with Joan, and then I go back and put that light on in the office, and I work well after hours, and that is just something that is just part of my whole psyche, I guess, my regimen. It's not hard to work for something that you love.
Kent over here, KTVH, Montana Sports. I'm curious, after 14 years, why now? I mean, what else made you, come to that decision? Why not 15 years?
Certainly there was that temptation, and again, presidents are here in the room. My health is good. My job day to day, my job performance was good. This truly was my decision, and I think as I was talking to some people before we went on the air, if you had this attitude of, well, I can't go because there's something else that is out there. In other words, you can't retire until the last bow is put on the box. What I've learned in the first 14 years is that there's always something pending that is going to roll into the next year. And so if you waited until everything was perfect, probably not going to get to retire. Just the idea that there's fresh ideas, there's always any of us know in our work that we can be replaced. And this guy that just walked in the room is probably my reason. I've got 10 of those.
Okay.
And I want to get out. The oldest one's going to graduate from high school this year in Bend, Oregon. And Joan and I want to, not that this job was inhibiting because I could really pretty much set schedules around, but there was times where we missed some things. And Cruz and Kai, who's not here today, and Taylor, they're not getting any coaching at home. They need grandpa coaching. I noticed he left the room.
I would just like to add one thing I failed to mention is that, as you know, in a search process, it can take some time to fill a position. And one of the things that Commissioner Paulson is very, very generous of is his willingness to serve until the position is filled. So if it takes until, into the fall or whatever it takes, he will be our commissioner. So I just wanted to mention that. That's a very generous.
And if the coaches misbehave, can I pull that certificate out?
I kind of want to piggyback off that, Kent. Are you Whitefish isn't too far away. Are you planning on, how much time you planning on spending in Helena to maybe watch your son, Coach Carroll?
Oh, we definitely, that's been the beauty of this job is that not only did I get to watch Kurt coach, but I got to watch every school, and I made it a point, certainly kind of set it up on a 2-year period where over 2 years I was going to be at every campus, including Oregon, Idaho, and now Arizona. But we'll certainly stay in tune and go to games, be fans. I can now cheer. And the crazy part of this, and I know she's not going to like this, but Joan is prone to yell at referees. And she's been told by me and her son, Mom, don't go there. But you mentioned Whitefish. We've had quite a few meetings there. I think everybody's enjoyed. We loved hosting. And back to 2009, the 4 previous commissioners had all lived in towns where we had institutions. And it was just presumed that we were going to move out of Whitefish. And I retired from the high school, but Joan was still nursing in Kalispell. And they asked, which town are you going to pick? And I said, well, I'm not. I said, I hope this isn't a deal breaker because I really want this job. But I painted the picture that I'm going to have to make some tough decisions, which this job does entail. And, sometimes if you live in Dillon, you're going to be tied to Western. And then on top of that, I'm a Western grad. And so I gave them some examples of why maybe living in a neutral area, plus it opens up some new press, new media coverage, the bylines from Whitefish that was referred to, and so they said, you know what, you make a good point. Let's try it for a year and then we'll revisit it. They never revisited it because we had a couple meetings there. They had a lot of fun. They enjoyed coming, and I hope the Frontier has found a home. And man, I sure hope that even from the sidelines that we get some visitors up there, and they might even call Joan and say, hey, could you possibly host a summer meeting? I know Sherry would be all for it. So I hope I answered your question.
You did, thank you, sir. This is my last one, I promise. I'm curious, speaking of 09, how does the conference look now compared to, how it did when you took over?
Well, it was interesting. I think every organization has, the ebb and flow. We truly were on the upward movement. We had a meeting in 2012, my 3rd year in Billings. It was part of our winter meetings. And we had 8 schools. We had both Westminster and Lewis Clark State that had come into the conference. University of Providence had brought sports back in 2000. So we had 8 full-time members, and we were poised to add Southern Oregon as an associate member in football. And we had interviewed Dickinson, and we had interviewed Jamestown. And so we were actually creeping towards 10 full-time with additional associate members for football. And Dickinson did come in 2012, and they were in for 3 years, and then the North Star was formed, and they went back to join their other North Dakota, South Dakota schools. But the high water mark, if you will, at that time was we had 9 full-time schools, and then with our associate members, our football was also at 9. And we, through nothing that we have done wrong, we've experienced first Westminster went to Division II NCAA in the RMAC. Those Clark State, they align better with some of their sports, baseball certainly being one of them with the Cascade, and they left. And so that's where we got back to 6, and as was said, believe me, at the top of every agenda has been membership, and that will continue. I know John and Greg and Charlie and others will keep that at the top of their agendas, because we are a good conference. We're geographically challenged, and we understand that, but we happen to like where we live and get to work. And this thing is going to happen. We're going to get back to. You'd like to have at least 8 for scheduling, 8 full-time. We're sitting at 9 in football, and there's people knocking on our door. That's a good sign. And so I think we're really, really, as I mentioned in my introductory remarks, I think we're really in a good position. And I think you're going to see some really good things happening in the years to come.
Thank you.
Anybody want to ask Joan anything? Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.